The Wood Beyond the World. Chapter 26. They come to the folk of the bears. On they went, and before long they were come up on to the down country, where was scarce a tree, save gnarled and knotty thorn bushes here and there, but not else higher than the wind. And here on these upper lands they saw that the pastures were much burned with the drought, albeit summer was not worn old. Now they went making due south toward the mountains, whose heads they saw from time to time rising deep blue over the bleak grayness of the downland ridges. And so they went, till at last, hard on sunset, after they had climbed long over a high bent, they came to the brow thereof, and looking down beheld new tidings. There was a wide valley below them, greener than the downs which they had come over, and greener yet amidmost, from the watering of a stream which, all beset with willows, wound about the bottom. Sheep and neat were pasturing about the dale, and moreover a long line of smoke was going up straight into the windless heavens from the midst of a ring of little round houses built of turfs, and thatched with reed. And beyond that, toward an eastward lying bight of the dale, they could see what looked like to a doom ring of big stones, though there were no rocky places in that land. About the cooking fire amidst of the houses, and here and there otherwhere, they saw, standing or going to and fro, huge figures of men and women, with children playing about betwixt them. They stood and gazed down at it for a minute or two, and though all were at peace there, yet to Walter at least it seemed strange and awful. He spake softly, as though he would not have his voice reach those men, though they were, forsooth, out of earshot of anything save a shout. "Are these then the children of the bear? What shall we do now?" She said, "Yea, of the bear they be, though there be other folks of them far and far away to the northward and eastward, near to the borders of the sea. And as to what we shall do, let us go down at once and peacefully. Indeed, by now there will be no escape from them. For lo you, they have seen us." Forsooth, some 3 or 4 of the big men had turned them toward the bent whereon stood the twain, and were hailing them in huge, rough voices, wherein, howsoever, seemed to be no anger or threat. So the maid took Walter by the hand, and thus they went down quietly, and the bear folk, seeing them, stood all together, facing them, to abide their coming. Walter saw of them, that though they were very tall and bigly made, they were not so far above the stature of men as to be marvels. The carles were long-haired and shaggy of beard, and their hair all red or tawny. Their skins, where their naked flesh showed, were burned brown with sun and weather, but to a fair and pleasant brown, not like to blackamoors. The queens were comely and well-eyed, nor was there anything of fierce or evil-looking about either the carles or the queens, but somewhat grave and solemn of aspect were they. Clad were they all, saving the young men-children, but somewhat scantily, and in naught save sheepskins or deerskins. For weapons they saw amongst them clubs, and spears headed with bone or flint, and ugly axes of big flints set in wooden handles. Nor was there, as far as they could see, either now or afterward, any bow amongst them. But some of the young men seemed to have slings done about their shoulders. Now when they were come but 3 fathom from them, the maid lifted up her voice, and spake clearly and sweetly, "Hail, ye folk of the bears! We have come amongst you, and that for your good and not for your hurt, wherefore we would know if we be welcome." There was an old man who stood foremost in the midst, clad in a mantle of deerskins worked very goodly, and with a gold ring on his arm, and a chaplet of blue stones on his head, and he spake, "Little are ye, but so goodly, that if ye were but bigger, we should deem that ye were come from the God's house. Yet have I heard, that how mighty soever may the gods be, and chiefly our God, they be at whiles not so bigly made as we of the bears. How this may be, I wot not. But if ye be not of the gods or their kindred, then are ye mere aliens, and we know not what to do with aliens, save we meet them in battle, or give them to the god, or save we make them children of the bear. But yet again, ye may be messengers of some folk who would bind friendship and alliance with us, in which case ye shall at the least depart in peace, and whiles ye are with us shall be our guests in all good cheer. Now, therefore, we bid you declare the matter unto us." Then spake the maid, "Father, it were easy for us to declare what we be unto you here present. But, meseemeth, ye who be gathered round the fire here this evening are less than the whole tale of the children of the bear." "So it is, maiden," said the elder, "that many more children hath the bear." "This then we bid you," said the maid, "that ye send the tokens round and gather your people to you, and when they be assembled in the doom ring, then shall we put our errand before you, and according to that shall ye deal with us." "Thou hast spoken well," said the elder, "and even so had we bidden you ourselves. Tomorrow, before noon, shall ye stand in the doom ring in this dale, and speak with the children of the bear." Therewith he turned to his own folk and called out something, whereof those twain knew not the meaning. And there came to him, one after another, 6 young men, unto each of whom he gave a thing from out his pouch, but what it was Walter might not see, save that it was little and of small account. To each also he spake a word or two, and straight they set off running, one after the other, turning toward the bent which was over against that whereby the twain had come into the dale, and were soon out of sight in the gathering dusk. Then the elder turned him again to Walter and the maid, and spake, "Man and woman, whatsoever ye may be, or whatsoever may abide you tomorrow, tonight, ye are welcome guests to us. So we bid you come eat and drink at our fire." So they sat all together upon the grass round about the embers of the fire, and ate curds and cheese, and drank milk in abundance. And as the night grew on them, they quickened the fire, that they might have light. This wild folk talked merrily amongst themselves, with laughter enough and friendly jests. But to the newcomers they were few spoken, though, as the twain deemed, for no enmity that they bore them. But this found Walter, that the younger ones, both men and women, seemed to find it a hard matter to keep their eyes off them, and seemed, withal, to gaze on them with somewhat of doubt, or, it might be, of fear. So when the night was wearing a little, the elder arose and bade the twain to come with him, and led them to a small house or booth, which was amidmost of all, and somewhat bigger than the others, and he did them to wit that they should rest there that night, and bade them sleep in peace and without fear till the morrow. So they entered, and found beds thereon of heather and ling, and they laid them down sweetly, like brother and sister, when they had kissed each other. But they noted that 4 brisk men lay without the booth, and across the door, with their weapons beside them, so that they must needs look upon themselves as captives. Then Walter might not refrain him, but spake, "Sweet and dear friend, I have come a long way from the quay at Langton, and the vision of the dwarf, the maid, and the lady. And for this kiss wherewith I have kissed thee e'en now, and the kindness of thine eyes, it was worth the time and the travail. But tomorrow, meseemeth, I shall go no further in this world, though my journey be far longer than from Langton hither. And now may God and all hallows keep thee amongst this wild folk, whenas I shall be gone from thee." She laughed low and sweetly, and said, "Dear friend, dost thou speak to me thus mournfully to move me to love thee better? Then is thy labor lost, for no better may I love thee than now I do, and that is with mine whole heart. But keep a good courage, I bid thee, for we be not sundered yet, nor shall we be. Nor do I deem that we shall die here or tomorrow, but many years hence, after we have known all the sweetness of life. Meanwhile, I bid thee good night, fair friend."